Not the big moments, not the achievements, but these small, uncomfortable, everyday adjustments that changed you. You start noticing something else. You miss home. You realize space is just a luxury and you don't actually need as much as you thought. Let's go through it properly, like step by step, like it actually happens. Before we get into this, quick question. How many of you have at least once thought life abroad must be sorted? Like better lifestyle, more money, more freedom, and everything just works. And just so you know where I'm coming from, I'm not saying this as an outsider. I came abroad as a student, and yes, I've been here for the past 10 years now, and what I'm sharing isn't just my experience here. It's something I've seen again and again with almost every student who comes here. Different countries, different people, and yet same story, but a very similar pattern. Let me start with a simple observation of mine. There is a very perfect idea of life abroad. Everything looks sorted, peaceful, and slightly cinematic. You land, and somehow everything is supposed to just work. That's the idea. The reality? It works, but not the way you expect it to work. So let's go through it properly, like step by step, like it actually happens. Step 1, landing. And that first reality check, it hits different. You land and for a few minutes it feels great. New country, new environment, everything looks organized and you feel like you've made progress. And then suddenly, small problems showing up, like no SIM card for instance. No SIM card means no internet, no quick way to figure things out. You're standing there with your three luggage bags trying to make basic decisions a little more carefully than usual. It's not stressful, it's just enough to make you realize you are on your own. Then, step 2, figuring out how to move around. Now, you need to get somewhere. Transportation exists and it's efficient, but you don't fully understand it yet. Routes, cards, timings, everything makes sense, but not just immediately. You hesitate, you double check everything. At some point, you'll probably take the wrong route, and that's okay. It's fine. You just end up seeing more of the city than you intended to see. So that's it. You're just figuring things out on your own. Then comes step 3 and adjusting expectations. You finally reach your place and walk into your room, and there is usually a small pause after that. Not because it's bad, it's just because it's different. Smaller, simpler, more functional than you imagined. That's when you quietly adjust your expectations. You realize space is just a luxury and you don't actually need as much as you thought. Then comes step 4, the important part, grocery shopping. It becomes an experience. You go out to buy basic things thinking it's easy, and then you realize how much you rely on familiarity. Too many options, unfamiliar brands, different packaging. You spend more time reading labels than buying things. Let's say you pick what seems right, then you try it and then come back and slowly figure things out over time, not immediately. Then comes step 5, our basic food and survival mode. After a point, food becomes less about variety and more about convenience. You start choosing what's quick, easy, and reliable. Not because you don't want to eat better food, but because you don't always have time or the energy for it. And yes, certain instant foods become very important in your life. You rely on those instant foods. Then comes step 6, part time work reality. There comes work. Everyone says it's manageable, and it is technically, but it's consistent and it takes your energy. You show up to work, you do your job, you deal with people, stay polite, stay focused. By the end of your shift, you're tired. Not dramatically tired, just properly drained. Then, step 7, it's about balancing both your studies and everything else. With your part time work and all, right after work, your actual reason for being there continues. Like assignments, deadlines, expectations, all still there. They don't really adjust based on your situation. So you adjust according to those situations. So you start planning better, managing time better, doing what needs to be done. Maybe not perfectly, but consistently. Consistency, it really matters. After that, step 8, routine, and your lifestyle changes. At this point, your life really becomes quite structured. Work, study, rest, you start valuing time and energy. You say no to things more easily. You choose what actually matters. Life becomes simpler but also more intentional. Then comes step 9. It's the hard part, homesickness, and those quiet moments. Then, somewhere in between all this, you start noticing something else. You miss home. Not in a dramatic way, just in small, unexpected moments. A random memory flashes, a familiar voice, something you used to ignore. You realize how easy things felt back at home. Here, everything works, but it requires effort. And that difference, it really stays with you. Then comes step 10, pressure, uncertainty, and growth. And finally, the bigger question starts coming in. What's next? Job, visa, future? People ask you, and you're still figuring things out yourself. There is pressure, but it's not loud. It's just always there in the background. Just when you are figuring things, just when everything, like all of this is going on. But despite all of this, you keep going, you adapt, you learn, you become more capable than you were before. The things you've seen, not in obvious ways, but the real ones. And here's the part nobody really explains properly. This phase, this particular phase, doesn't feel special when you are in it. It just feels tired, confusing, sometimes even frustrating. But much later, when things settle, you look back and realize this is the phase that changed you, that really changed you. Not the big moments, not the achievements, but these small, uncomfortable, everyday adjustments that changed you. Figuring things out alone, handling pressure quietly, learning to be okay even when things are going your way. And those uncertain moments, that's what stays. So, if you are in this phase right now, just know this: you are not behind, you are not lost, you are just in the middle of all of it. And one day, without even noticing it, when it happened, you will become the person who can handle all of this without overthinking it. And when that happens, believe me, you won't say it out loud, but you will know you figured it out.